Hello everyone, my name is ben-Emmett and it's the first video of this type I did, long length. What you see behind me, I'm ben-Emmett by the way. The YouTube channel, the Tour Watchman Show International, it's a 501c3 non-for-profit charitable company, so I got that commercial out of the way. But I go by Yaar, you can call me Yaar. But anyway, I bought this beautiful tank for my daughter's birthday recently. It's a little more than a month old. And I am so surprised how well it's done, because I've never done this before. I used to be a bass master and fisherman and all this, my father in Louisiana and everything else. All I've had, is go fish in a bowl. But I've always admired from afar saltwater fish, marine, ocean biology, and all of this. I consider myself a scientist since I have 4 degrees in science. Anyway, this is a 75-gallon tank. If you can see this here, 75-gallon tank. This is not acrylic. This is tempered glass. I got a fantastic price on this, about a little less than $500. At Petland, and this is I believe a Marineland tank, and it actually comes with the furniture part underneath it. I'm sorry, in the video you can't see it, but anyway, it's supposed to withhold more than 1,000 pounds, and of course I have more than 60 pounds of live rock in here. If anyone were asking how I knew how to do this, well, I met my friend up with Logan, with the Reef Rookies group. I believe he's a PhD in chemistry, I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, I'm a researcher. I use artificial intelligence, Gemini, Google, to find out all the answers, all the complex questions about setting this thing up. I definitely, first of all, cost-benefit analysis, I did not want to lose my money in this tank. And I'm dealing with living things. I'm dealing with animals, okay? I'm dealing with vulnerable animals. I have 4 corals in here, and I've showed you before. If you see my video shorts, and I'll reference them in the details of this video. But there are 4 corals here. These are soft corals. I don't have any hard corals in here yet. I might mix and match. But I do have I believe they call it toadstool leather coral. It has a beautiful purple leather hide, it looks like, and it's attached to this rock over here. And at night, and we're in nighttime mode right here, the polyps completely retract almost. Now tonight, I know I'm jumping, but tonight I added a fresh batch of copepods, and the first time ever, live phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is very important. It's known as the milk of the ocean milk, and copepods love that. And they said it's just a power curve for your tank's health and maturity and everything else. And this water is still maturing. I'd say within the last week or so, I had a diatoms kind of explosion in here. That's the kind of brown algae looking residue you see on the inside of the tank. I've talked to many tank operators and said, don't worry about it. It's not life-threatening. Doesn't mean your water parameters are out of control necessarily. But let me admit here, even though I just purchased a 5-stage reverse osmosis system, I have not hooked it up yet. This here is Brito filtered tap water. Yeah, you heard me. With the very finest salt I could find, okay? Also, the sand is was washed sand. It was not so dusty. Very best sand I could find. Of course, I already told you more than 60 pounds of live rock as opposed to dead rock. I used to have a pet rock when I was a kid. I didn't know there was such thing as a live rock, but as far as microbes and aerobic bacteria living and embedded within the rock, even when it came, I bought a shipment through the mail, and I went to a local saltwater aquarium store near me in DC, is where I'm at, and they had some purplish live rock. They told me You can get the white, but I would get the purple because it's treated to enhance this healthy bacteria and really to prevent a tank crash in the very beginning. Start out with live rock, literally. That's what I've been told by my friend Logan. Okay? I'm not an expert with this. I'm not. I am learning all of this. Now, cleanup crew, okay? Start from the bottom up. I don't know if you believe trickle-down economics or whatever, all kidding aside, but I have a lot of Mexican turbo snails in here. I have hermit crabs. I have some things I cannot quite identify, but they are my cleanup crew. They are the more nocturnal, but they do, hermit crabs do come out when I feed them, even in the day. And I found out I lost at least two snails, small snails. I think they starved to death, and I felt bad about that because I was not feeding them. I thought they had enough, the diatoms and algae. I had some micro algae hiding in this rock here. It's a free floater kind of thing. Does it grow in the sand? I had to find that out. I think the green equivalent of that does grow in the sand. I need to get more of that. I already have a laundry list of more fish. All I have here is clownfish here. There's two. I paired them up, and I believe I have a male and female, and they are very comical too. I am actually emotionally attached to them. They're very smart, instinctively smart. I feed them twice a day. I found out that some people feed them 2 to 3 times a day. I don't want to overfeed them. These are my only ammonia producers. I want to stay cool first. You hear about the nitrogen cycle. You know, ammonia turns to nitrites, and nitrates turn to nitrates, and eventually it's released as nitrogen gas and things like that. That's why I have this tank open. I used to have it covered, and through evaporation, natural evaporation, that induces me for a water change per se. You know, evaporation, transpiration, that kind of thing. It's good for oxygenation of the water, and of course have carbon dioxide and other things like nitrogen gas to easily egress the tank. Okay, you don't want it bound in there continually. How many nitrogen cycles have it completed? I don't really know. I did check my ammonia one time. I used these HANA detectors. I have several of them. I haven't had a lot of luck with them. I did get one good ammonia test. The other were out of tolerance range and everything. I have a magnesium one. I couldn't get that working. The only one that worked really good, because it's simpler, was the alkalinity, you know. And the alkalinity was kind of a little bit of high side, which is really not too unusual because, you know, I don't believe in dosing things. I do use a healthy bacteria doser that actually helps to deal with too much diatoms in your tank. But I also have a all-in-one reef supplement that if you first check your water parameters, and if you're low in calcium and other things like that, that it will give you all these essential minerals and elements and things like that that are just way out there in the hundreds and tenths of whatever particles per million. Okay, if you're wondering why you see a blue light here, okay, this blue light here is the lunar phase of the month. Okay, and the moon is about, I don't know, it's probably getting up to 17 days on the lunar cycle. It does not, in my eyes, does not look as blue as it does in the camera. But anyway, I have my lights on here just for the purpose of video. But these are Pop Bloom RL90 lights. They're about $130 a piece. And for the size of this tank, I think it's what, 44 inches or so? 48, I cannot remember. But I have these two lights here. And they actually work with Smart Life application on my Android Galaxy phone. I guess if you have an iPhone, it works about the same way. And I learned how to use this just by watching Logan showing it too. He has a special video for this. He doesn't pay me for giving a plug-in. But anyway, it's fairly easy, and they don't pay me to say this, but I do love the pop bloom. Something I did notice I want to throw in when I talk about these lights, it has a lightning feature, and some people laugh at it, it's a party kind of thing. No. It actually has a randomizer built into it, and it just bright as day, you see lightning here, and that actually, I noticed my fish here, they actually change their behavior radically. I don't know if it scared them, or I don't think it stressed them out, but they were excited. They were swimming back and forth, rippling their bodies through the water in a way I've not seen them do before, just zipping through the water. But based on science, actually, your fish will spawn in those times of lightning, especially at night. And then you have the introduction of tropical rain, which you have fresh water going to the ocean. So I actually top it off with a little bit of fresh water. I'm using distilled water right now when I can. And so I just doing an experiment with them and see how they behave and how they react. And also I have sound effects of thunderstorms and lightning crack and all this stuff. And I have that. This is just something that you can make your hobby here more enjoyable. I didn't expect this to be a full-time hobby. Listen, this should not be just labor and laborious work and you just begrudge doing it. It should be a labor of love. And I don't mind coming down in my basement. Yeah, this is my basement. I don't have this thing upstairs. So that keeps the leak risk down. I also have, and I'm going to show you a little bit, if I get this camera working. If you see this here, this is my Fuji Cube sump. I just got that, and I'm again, this is alien to me. I did not want to get this complex with a tank here. I didn't want to have to be a chemistry professor to understand water parameters, all this, but it's just part of the business, okay? I heard that if you get a 75-gallon tank versus 40-gallon, it's more sustainable. In other words, the corals and fish are happier and healthier in this kind of environment. And there's pros and cons. Everyone has an opinion, and I'm just giving you based on what I know to be true. This is a do-it-yourself project. The reason why I bought this $400 and something Fuji Cube, I think the 24 Generation 2 version just came in, is because my protein skimmer is making a fuss. And my protein skimmer, I've adjusted this thing several times. Let's see if I can move my camera over. But anyway, I have everything right now, like most people starting out with their hobbies, everything is hanging off the back. That's kind of tacky. But mainly, the protein skimmer, I have it turned off right now because I added copepods and phytoplankton. Okay? And I have it turned off for that. That's what they say. I don't want them to be sucked up in there and filtered and all this stuff. I want them to colonize and grow in here. But the protein skimmer, and I'm thinking about getting a larger one for this tank size. I think it's a little bit underwhelmed. It makes a lot of that foam and all this. And the ease of use is spattering a little bit on the wall here, a little salt, contribute to salt creep and all that. Anyway, I can put this messy protein skimmer in my sump. Yeah, I can do that. And my sump also is big enough to have something called a refugium, if I'm pronouncing it correct. And I saw some wild hair, I call it wild hair algae, green algae at the saltwater tank store I went to, and the guy tried to sell me. I said, no, I said, that stuff will grow everywhere. And now I'm going to put that in the sump. And that will essentially consume excessive nitrates in the water and help stabilize and reach harmony and equilibrium and balance in the water's overall health and maturity and everything else. Again, this is a do-it-yourself project. I'm 61 years old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I'm just excited about this. My daughter, my wife said, when you can get more fish, you only have 2 fish. Okay, I have two ammonia producers. I do not want to overtax the environment because this is a reef tank. And I decided a while back, I want to have beautiful corals in here. I decided not to get sea anemones because they're more sensitive, and it takes about 6 months, I heard, before you should even add them, and it's only a month old. And Logan and others said you can put like a mushroom coral in here, and it's hard to kill. You can put it in there day one. And this is all about the baseline of your water parameters and your environment and everything else. Anyway, I plan on doing other videos on this. I have my own selection of water test kits. I just bought, okay, I told my wife, when we go on a vacation, I don't have to worry about this tank. So I bought a ring security system for the basement, and it will be focused on this tank and the sump at all times, and I will be able to see real time what's happening, okay? I have all my lights automated here. I can turn it on and off with my phone and my voice. I also just ordered a digital meter device that will actually auto check salinity in the water, okay? My water is right now at 1.026 specific gravity, okay? I think that's around 34.5% salt or whatever. I don't know the rating, but I go by specific gravity. I started with a refractometer, I believe you call it. That was hard for me to use. I use a digital meter now. I configured that early on with just fresh water. I know what it shows at fresh water, so I use that as my baseline for salty water, and I check that salinity every single day. Why? Because evaporation, and when evaporation happens, the fresh water evaporates, leaves the salt water there, and becomes more salty. I do not want the water to get too salty for the living animals and organisms in the tank. So that is a trigger to me to add more distilled water. Hopefully, when I do a major water change soon, I can use my reverse osmosis system to put 99.9% pure H2O in here. So help me God. You know, have that water here and just build that up. And you have more command and control over water parameters, you really do. I want to automate this so much. In the 21st century, you should. If there is an automated test here that can check alkalinity, can check your salt, the salinity, can check some of the many things that you would normally mail in your ICP test, and I'm getting ready to do this too very soon. As soon as I have osmosis kind of water, I don't have it, I modified tap water. But this is about $45, $47, and you take water samples and you send it to a company, and they will give you a very detailed, comprehensive analysis. Supposedly, I've never done this before, just learning, and it tells me exactly how much parts per million of magnesium, boron, and rare elements and things like that that's in the water, and will tell me, and I'll make a note on this. I'll probably will do this maybe once every 3 months or so to just get a baseline and sanity check based on individualistic water checking. And again, I tried doing this. I'm learning how to do this. I use YouTube extensively and AI to learn how to use these different manual like HANA, magnesium checkers, things like that. It's laborious and all this, but anyway, I want to have an automated system here that will send notifications to my phone and notify me when the water level drops to a certain level. It's not acceptable. Hopefully, I can use my sump for this, and I can have an additional water supply of fresh water, osmosis water, to refill the tank if I'm away more than a week or whatever. And I hope that's not the case. I'm already stressed out that I have this project here, unmitigated by risk per se. If I do want to take my family on vacation, I plan to do that sometime. This does not stop my life necessarily, okay? We should all have fun whatever we do, okay? I've been in IT, information technology, more than 30 years. I'm a United States Air Force combat veteran. I am a certified rabbi, a certifiable, whatever. If I can do this, anyone can do this. I'm encouraging you to get involved in something like this. I could have done freshwater, but for me, You know, it's kind of boring. I just think it's more exotic, a little bit more sexy per se, to have saltwater fish and corals in your tank, and they are dependent on me. I'm like the mother or the father to them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. There's more coming. If you have any questions, just post them to me. I'm excited about this. It's a do-it-yourself project. I try to keep my cost-benefit analysis on the project expense and expenditure on this. I do not want to have to spend as much money I spend on the tank for all the modern features, but we'll see. I need to modernize this. I need to have other types of diversity of ways of testing the water parameters. That's my futuristic goal. That's coming probably in the next video. Hopefully in the next video I can talk more about my sump and talk about my 5-stage reverse osmosis system.